Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing Esper Pixie. This is probably one of the most competitive decks that you can be playing in the best one ladder, and it probably arguably got one of the best upgrades in an uncommon, so even craft wise it's not that taxing to put back into your deck. But we have the card Momentum Breaker. Why is this such an upgrade over the other cards, which we'll talk about them in just a second. This card says whenever this enchantment enters, each opponent sacrifices a creature or vehicle of their choice. The vehicle part, not that relevant, but for 2 mana, this is typically always going to kind of hit what you want, especially in this deck where we do have a nowhere to run and constant like removal spells or picking this back up and replaying it. We either remove the bad creature and then we play it again and then we get the creature we actually want. But if they're not playing a creature and they're more of a control deck, we get to play this and have our opponent discard a card if they're unable to sacrifice a creature. So it kind of does 2 cards in one, and I actually have them here, which these are not in the deck. These are just what I'm comparing it to. Bandit's Talent often came to mind for me when I played this deck, because I thought the times where we do the Hopeless Nightmare cycle and get them down low on cards, Bandit's Talent can kind of finish the job, and then we can upgrade this to either draw extra cards or do a little bit more damage and get the last bit of damage through. Because the problem before is when we played Tithing Blade or Teething Blade, it's an artifact. It's not an enchantment, so we lose a lot of value there. But this does, whenever this artifact enters, each opponent sacrifices a creature of their choice. So it only sacrifices creatures. So if our opponent is a control deck and they're not putting a lot of creatures into play, or the only creatures they're putting into play are off of lands, this card isn't very effective. It's not a card we want to pick up and replay over and over, especially as an artifact, because of a card like Scavenger. This has Eerie. Whenever an enchantment you control enters, we put a 1/1 counter on a target creature. If we're cycling between Momentum Breaker and Tithing Blade, I think it's Tithing Blade, I'm unsure. But if we're choosing between these two, this being an artifact doesn't trigger our Scavenger at all. Or if we're even playing like other Eerie cards, just doesn't trigger them at all. So it's just lost value. Where if we do a Momentum Breaker and say they don't even have a creature, when we play this, they discard a card, we put a counter on this, we pick it back up and replay it. That puts an additional counter here, and then they discard an additional card. Whereas even if this was an enchantment, we play it just to get the kind of triggers to put extra counters in places. It just doesn't do any value at all. We're just spending 2 mana to add 1 counter to a creature, which obviously is not the greatest rate. And then Bandit's Talent, of course, being an enchantment is great, but if there's a creature in play that we need to deal with right now, like an Akazots or something like that, this card doesn't find as much value as it could because it makes them discard. But if they're empty-handed, then it does nothing, right? So outside of those, which I'll throw back here in the sideboard so we can kind of reference them maybe here in a second. But outside of that, we're doing Pixie, Fear of Isolation, playing these to pick up cards that are important, like the Hopeless Nightmare, Storm Chaser's Talent, and now the kind of infamous card Momentum Breaker, along with kind of having a Scavenger, Shelter by Ghost, able to kind of combo with our other creatures to take out anything that we need. Because we're constantly hitting their hand, they'll have less options to answer our creature that we've Sheltered by Ghost. And along with that, we have nowhere to run, so those Boros decks can't just give their creature ward and kind of get past us that way like they oftentimes do against other control decks. Because like Get Lost is 2 mana, it has ward 2, Get Lost is now 4 mana, unless you want it to get countered. We just get to avoid that entirely with nowhere to run. Or even just playing this on a smaller creature so we can bounce with this town ain't big enough, one of their bigger things, and no hexproof will kind of stop us from doing so. So outside of that, we're going to go ahead and dive into the games. We hit Diamond with this today pretty quickly, so that's always nice. And let's just go see how we did it. Like one of the weird things where, like, obviously I'd love to start off with the Storm Chaser's Talent play, but we'll definitely just play our tap land first. Iron Claw. We have kind of the perfect answer for this stuff. We'll just pass. We'll bully this whenever we get to combat here with nowhere to run. Don't let them attack here. You can go for protection nonsense, I guess, if that's what it comes down to. Like, technically, Monstrous Rage it and protect it, and its toughness would be too high. There goes the Slick Shot. Oh, and we hit a land. Absolutely devastating, of course. We'll just Pixie. Pick this back up and force them to have to think about the fact that we have one of these kind of semi-permanently. Wait. This is the thing about this matchup is you just wait. here into this. You hold this up. I am perfectly down just playing defensive here. Build a wall. Just hold off. Don't let him do anything. Sure. A Helix I don't think is going to change the math all too much. Especially once we shelter by Ghost. So Boros Charm is probably something we have to worry about, but Indestructible doesn't matter. So they're most likely looking to do this, but I'll just know where to run it. They're wanting to clear the way for Slick Shot, but I'm not here to take any damage if I can avoid it. Helix, sure. I don't play counter spells, so that's fine. This is one of the things where it's like, do we just now shelter by Ghost, don't even worry about picking up anything and just start getting the life back? I think so. Because one of the big problems is like a Screaming Nemesis eventually exists, right? So now we just gain a whole Lightning Helix back worth of life. They play another land. They're finally going for Slick Shot. Sure. They're going all in. This is going to force them to concede most likely. Uh-huh. I mean, I guess we just do this and we'll see a concession here. Yep. Very cool. It's just like, this is why people like Pixie so much, is because against red, you just get to do that. Like, just play patient. Just know where to run their stuff. They can never really do anything. Because going 1-for-1 removal doesn't ever do it, but putting a creature in play and picking it up and reusing that spell over and over again is just good enough. So we move on. We'll get to go first with this hand. That's pretty sweet. We'll keep. It's like playing this tap land down right away, although we could technically play it on 2, so it's kind of whatever, I guess. Sure. I know where to run's pretty good. Need... yeah, whatever. Doesn't really matter which order we do this. Now we'll play this. We'll make a creature a little bit larger. I do not want to put a counter on their creature. I'll promise you that. But now we have a nowhere to run plus like a momentum breaker. And like this can't attack currently. They could shelter by Ghost, but then they'll lose it. They obviously don't know that, but we do. That's one of my favorite parts about playing this card in general, whether you like this deck or not. I do think my favorite part of all this is just getting to play nowhere to run is so incredible, just to stop people from being able to constantly do whatever they want against you. There's nowhere to run. In terms of shelter by Ghost, obviously. We remove this. Counter here. We play a Pixie. Pick up our nowhere to run. And then I'll attack for 5. I have a 2/2 back to body this, and unless they make a token, it doesn't necessarily attack for more. And even if it does, I will block. Like if there's a hop up here, or hop to it. Okay, that might get around it, but whatever. I'll take my damage. Yeah, let's go to combat here. We're in. I didn't figure there'd be much to go on about, so we'll just do the damage and we'll pass here. We'll look to know where to run something. We just take a little less damage there, but at least at that point we get to prioritize doing something else. Like bodying this quest caller whenever they try to get a scry going. Like that. Actually, I might let them play this, do their scry, and I'm probably just bouncing it. Okay. We'll let them scry first. Actually, we might even just get to hit them for lethal here. So if they attack and they make a token, that token's tapped and attacking, right? Attacking creature will get +1 till in turn. Creator tapped and attacking. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with this. Let's see what's up. We're just kind of looking here. If they attack out, we obviously got good stuff going. Just attack with that, which is whatever, I think. What are we doing? Create a 1/1? Sure. I still think we get there, though. I'll let him scry again. It's whatever. So, here to here. Take a little bit of damage. It's whatever. And then, okay, well, that'll make math super easy. Here. A little too much. Oh, why did I put it? Oh my god. I hate that I play video games sometimes. Doesn't matter. It's just like doing something like that is just annoying in general. And we attack for lethal. Not freaking out, letting them have the options. We just want to make sure they can't attack with anything or block with anything. We have 2 ways to remove any type of creature. The token it makes is tapped and attacking, so we don't need to bother with it. We win and we move on. War's off. Sure. Well, I have plenty of ways to deal with that. Nowhere to run is what they should take. It's like the only thing that really does anything here. Sure. Land. Storm Chasers, which might have also been their tank, but then they just lose their Deep Cavern Bat, so it's kind of like whatever, right? War's off. It's kind of weird because I feel like this is the combo deck, which we have to somehow outpace, which is obviously easier said than done. We're more of a dirtle kind of mid-rangey pile. They're a bit more all in. Like to move to combat. They know about Kaido, so. Look at my token. Now nowhere to run could happen. Which is obvious, but and we just go for a draw, try to find lands and stuff. If we can.
Information is its own weapon.
I already played a land for turn, so we'll take that. If we hadn't played a land for turn, we would have taken the Dark Slick Shores and played it, just so we don't have to play a pain land. But we'll see. Delta Magos could come down, which would obviously suck, but it'd all be what it is because it do how it be. You know what I'm saying? So what do we do here? What are they doing here? They're also playing an interesting card from the new set. Is Cycles. Legions of Ash. Or Legions to Ash. Okay. Well. Let's play a Hopeless Nightmare. Let's crush their hand now. Hopeless Nightmare, obviously a very devastating draw for them. Because it's just going to eat their hand up. And they're obviously seem to be a bit more of a control deck than they are like the combo versions we've seen. I don't even know what that says. Target opponent reveals a hand. You may choose an online card, exile card if it's mana value 1 or less. That's actually a pretty sick card. Gives me what's the card name? Thought Eraser vibes. Thought Eraser being blue-black though. Here I am with the 2/3. A thick boy. Also, I don't know if anybody needs to hear this. There's a face inside of its mouth. I just want like that to be known. There's a little face right there. In case you didn't know about it, now you do. That's for you. They don't know about the second fear, so they might think that the card they cast here is good. Catcher mode. Okay. Cool. Etremos. I'm fine with this. Yep. It's all auto-resolving. So do I Shelter Magos this? Or do I just take the last card? Shelter by Ghosted. I don't want them to draw cards. I'm not a big let them draw cards guy. Attack. Ward 2 is obviously going to get around Elspeth's Smite too. And now I have a Hopeless Nightmare, which I guess they could cast this and take it from me.
The crueler the opponent.
Exile target creature you control for each other player. Exile to one target creature that player controls. Reveal 2 exile card from your graveyard. Ooh. Need to deal 5 to her. Well, that allows me to do that. I think this is going to be a back-breaking play. As they lose their Deep Cavern Bat and I hit Kaya down to 0, I'm not going face in a spot like this. I'm just going to get rid of this. I think the last time I saw this Kaya, I got comboed by it. Not a fan.
Dead end.
No, not today, brother. I know we just got speed online, but that doesn't really matter in our deck that much. Yeah. Sure. Here. Here. Or should interact. Hopeless Nightmare they knew about, so I'm not gonna target my creature with the Shelter by Ghost. There's no reason to overload it. My opinion. Okay, sure. Fine. I don't... Is this requirement met by this guy? Yeah, I can't even block right now. Sure. Move to combat. More damage. Actually messed up. I could have done something really sick, but I'm annoyed. Whatever. So when this trigger was on the stack and they cast Soul Partition, we should have let Soul Partition finish resolving. Sure. Very lockdown. They don't have more white, right? No, no, no. Okay. I guess it works out in our favor anyway. Nothing in our way now. We have 5 power, and then we'll play a Shelter, and they'll be dead. So, what I was saying is, if Ketramos, which thankfully we had our bounce spell because temporary lockdown would have sucked, but when Ketramos entered off the Soul Partition exiling, there's still the Hopeless Nightmare trigger on the stack. If we hold priority, we could have used our bounce spell then to pick that Hopeless Nightmare back up, bouncing this back to their hand, or a Hopeless Nightmare would have forced them to discard it. We missed it. Wasn't thinking about it until literally after it happened. I said, oh! But yeah, we move on. Let's start off the Hopeless Nightmare. Everyone's favorite. Everyone loves, especially when they mulligan. Everyone loves getting hit with the Hopeless Nightmare. It's their favorite thing. They write letters to Wizards of the Coast telling them how much they love this card right here. They love it so much. People hate this card. Oh, it's so funny. Play Cave. Play Fear of Isolation. Pick it back up. We have multiple ways to answer this, so we just don't care. Because the ward won't matter if they Shelter by Ghosts, if they give it protection. As long as we can keep its kind of power or toughness, I guess, is the better explanation there. No attack. Sure. Get a second man to do nothing. Sure. Land. Play this Hopeless Nightmare. I will hit you for a bit. I will say attack. This matchup, I'm down to be aggressive. I'm down to be aggressive because one of the other things too, right, is even if they like get around my nowhere to run, which they will not now. Even if they were to get around my nowhere to run, nothing would matter. because we would then shelter by ghost creature, or we'd bounce the creature along with our nowhere to run and reset it, because then the ward never caused any problems. So if they monster trades this here, or they protection spell it here, the biggest it can get is have 3 toughness. In this game, I believe, is now over. But we'll see if our opponent's still here whenever this nowhere to run resolves. But they mulligan, got hit with the Hopeless Nightmare twice, and they do not seem happy about it. You know, like I said, Hopeless Nightmare, everyone's favorite card. Okie dokie. It now resolves. That will now get removed, and we'll now go to our turn. Play this tapped. We'll play this. We'll hold up this town. We're not just gonna play poorly because they're not here. They could always come back, and then we're gonna wait until they time out here and win the game. It should end the game if they time out again, but we'll see. We'll skip to that. Okay, here we are. I think that'll make them concede. There's no way, Wizard. Are we serious? Me not to play another turn? Oh no. I hate this so much. I hate playing Magic. I'm just gonna keep gaming, dude. You know? This is what I'm saying other games where I'm like, oh, I don't think there'll be a pause here. There shouldn't be a pause here. And then there's immediately a pause. And I'm like, why? Why was there? Why? Yeah. But here we are. Very cool. We'll wait again. I think Arena's gonna make me play one more turn. That would be crazy. It always is honestly more upsetting for them to concede them when I'm gonna go into my turn and win the game. I had to hit them to not win, but this next turn I would win the game, but I'm forced to sit here and wait. It's so annoying. All right, I will say this is probably the worst hand we've had so far, but we'll keep. Because you know the arena rule. 4 lands in the opener automatically means a 5th one. Never mind. We're going to play a Storm Chaser's Talent. We're not going to really worry about the story of the councils that much. I would assume this means it's Boros. It could be big white, which means it's mono white, like Caretaker's Talent control. But we'll see. Who hurt you, brother? I was waiting for the third. I was like, give me the third one, please. Obviously we'll go to combat, maybe. Actually, I'm down to start to speed, I think. Because they'll lose the healer hawk, and then we'll get to hit them, and then speed will go to 2. Which I'm realizing, as I've said in the past, it doesn't matter in this deck. I'm so used to needing the speed to like make my 2/2 zombies, make my other stuff. Oh, this matchup should be... matchup's going to be tragic for them. So we get to do something really cool here. So we get to play this. I'm going to have to go in full control mode here. Here, resolve this. Triggers on the stack. We cast a nowhere to run. And then the nowhere to run will enter. We'll remove the Pride Mate now. And then the Pride Mate will be gone. When they gain this life, the Pride Mate won't grow any. So, speed up to 3. We can gain life off our momentum breaker. Their hawk. The hawk that heals, if you would. Shelter by Ghost. Okay. Not a great matchup. I thought it was gonna be mono white control. It is not, and our opponent is just. Our opponent's not gonna win this game. I don't think. It's just a tough look, dude. Obviously, if they were against like mono red, I think they're crushing. If we're mono red, I think they crush us. But the amount of like counters and stuff we get to move around with creatures like this, it just doesn't end up mattering. Yeah, that sucks. I hate when somebody plays something unique like that and you just kind of bully it, because you know they're like, there's such a high chance that they just stop with the idea and move on, right? Like, this is such a cool deck. I like this deck a lot. It's just, I think Authority's just not that great of a card. I know it gains life, but I don't know. It's so good, but it's so bad. I don't know. Moving on. Hello, chair? I'm getting costed right now. I will keep. I literally can't move over. 3 land. I was trolling too hard. I played the wrong card. Oh no. Also, the land draws, can we relax on that? I meant to play this because now we'd hit him for 2. Brutal. Brutal. Or against Collector Cage. That's the backup win condition I've heard. Okay, honestly, probably wouldn't have mattered. With what I'm experiencing right now, I don't know if it would have mattered. Obviously, our Pixie's not doing much else but just attacking here. This town going to pick up the momentum breaker and bounce to 3/3. A lot of lands. But, I mean, honestly, this game would be actually a lot different now that I'm kind of thinking about it. But, oh, not a toy. Yeah, but I'm going to force them to attack this way, though. Like, you're going to have to sacrifice your 1/1 if you want to attack. Because I will trade. This creature gives counters to all their tokens. There's just no way I'm letting that kind of stick around, resolve, right? So, we can momentum break this, even though it doesn't really do much. But we kind of have to keep the board thin, right? So, momentum break. Here. Back in. So the thing is, because now, like, the thing I brought up before, this wouldn't even have died there, but they wouldn't have attacked either. Like, that's the part that's so frustrating. On one misplay at the beginning of the game, this game's outcome has changed, like, drastically. At least. Like, we might even be in such a winning position our opponent almost just considers conceding, but we just keep drawing lands, we're never going to get there, so it might not matter at all. Combat. Here's 3. Here's this to make him discard. Probably an Overlord in hand. Any deck playing this is playing the Collector's Cage. Oh boy. Be dead. Probably dead. Yeah, there he is. Need either a way to pick this up. Honestly, we need not a land. That'd also be a good start. Be a great start. They should probably get the 1-drop that can be offspringed. I would almost take it twice. Maybe that and a Wormlet. Wormlet would be really good with these. Wormlet would be very good with those. It's a tough choice, though. Boots and Pixie. Pixie's pretty cool at picking this up. Hold. What? Like, what do we do? All right, we get to go first. Maybe I won't punt this game into the sun. That'd be cool. Play a blue land. Play Storm Chaser's Talent. Make a 1/1. We play Fear of Isolation. We pick up the Storm Chaser's Talent. Wow, we're gaming. Go ahead and just do it right now. I'm not even worried about waiting. Attack, hit 1. Call it a day. Then we can play Courtyard, attack. This is Monument Control. Kind of crazy sometimes that I just like know what we're against most of the time. Now I think about it.
Watch
Here.
I've seen
I'm just going to plus. I have enough cards kind of in hand right now. I'll worry about drawing next turn. I know if they play a Monument, I have to worry about closing the game physically as fast as I can. Let's put this down. Let's see what they do, if they do anything at all. Attack. Because we're definitely going to look for a card now, I think. Surveil 2. Hopeless Nightmare is pretty great pickup here. They could have a counter spell. It's most likely a 3 steps ahead if it's anything. Maybe I go for Storm Chaser's Talent first. We bait out this counter spell. I want it to be known, by the way, I haven't played against this deck one time. I've just seen it in so many YouTube channels where people are like playing the monument, and it's always this. But Kaido's at 5. Ill-Time doesn't hit walkers, and we just put enough pressure on that they never get to play a monument. Win. Cool. I don't even want to Hopeless Nightmare them right now. The only time we want to Hopeless Nightmare this matchup is whenever they get low on cards, so we can hit the Storm Chaser's talent. Sure. Sure. And they leave on top. I mean, this creature tough. I could honestly just Shelter by Ghost and just run it at him. Is that worth? Actually, I think I might change my mind a bit. Just on the fact that they have 4 cards. And if this starts hitting lands even, we're just happy, I think. And with another Pixie, like we hit 1 land, it's another Nightmare, Pixie, Nightmare. Sure. Another Gorehound. Okay, well, they're going to find everything they want. They leave on top. Okay. Sure. Engine's getting started, and we do find that land, which is awesome. So now we go Hopeless Nightmare. Absorb this last card. So now they need a land plus. They... all 4 Gorehounds? We kill him? Now we'll get to take out the Glorious Pass here. Take away their sack outlet. And I'm in. Down to 8 they go. Their life total has gotten deleted. Looks like they have Dew Point. Sure. I'll take another card. The only problem here is they're going to do all this surveilling. They need both a Raise the Past. They need both Raise the Past and the card, like the combo, right? So like we're fine, I think. I guess they'll get to draw a card, but they're going to lose it because we'll fear Hopeless Nightmare hit him again. All those like I know what that's like, brother. I know what that's like. So they're putting themselves in a position to do it, which is fair. So do I have a way to win this? No card in the hand. We play here. We play Fear, or do we play Pixie? Nowhere to run is fine. I want to grow my flyer, I guess. I mean, one draw is all it'll take. They have they actually didn't hit it. They also need the Lord. Or not Lord. They need the sack outlet that can do it over and over and over again. Right there. That's a diamond for us. Playing against the combo deck I love so much. But we kind of changed our game plan to be a little bit more aggressive. It worked out. Very cool. Okay, so here we are. This is arguably one of the best decks in the meta, especially in best of 1. It's so hard to play around, and just getting another kind of 2-mana discard / sack outlet that is actually a good card. For example, it's not that I think this card was bad, even though I never played it because I hated it. This card felt so much worse than this card has felt already, just because it's like, if you have 2 or 3 of these, or 2, let's say 2 to be a little bit more realistic. So you have an opener, you keep it, you're like, it's removal, great. Then your opponent's not a creature deck, and this card's dead. Whereas like, at least this, after we've played Hopeless Nightmare, can also make our opponent discard. And if they're control, now they have 8 total discard effects they have to worry about. And something like Storm Chaser's Talent, they remove the creature. Now that's 3 cards that we've kind of absorbed out of their hand. And then we play a Scavenger, pick it up, and keep going and going. So I think overall, Momentum Breaker has just made this deck like significantly better and way more threatening. And it makes Scavenger way more worth playing. Sorry, I had to cough. But this card's just great. Now, do I wish we had like anything that had a payoff with Start Your Engines, kind of, because we can get it so freely in this matchup. Because Hopeless Nightmare just does damage whenever it enters, but it's also not that big of a deal. So I haven't had like that big of qualms about it, even though we'll have max speed and then just maybe sack this against red or something. With that said, I hope you all enjoyed. This is the last video I have to record, maybe second to last video I have to record before I go to Chicago. So yeah, I've been running it down, playing a ton of Magic. Like this video alone's 8 games and we hit diamond, so that's awesome. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Watching, and goodbye.